Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 78 of the Showbound podcast. I'm your host, Michael Raskin, here as always with San Jose Sharks draft pick Ethan Cardwell, fresh back from San Jose. Cards, how's it going, bud?
It's good, man. And just for the record, like typically we enter an episode and we kind of like talk a little bit, see what's going on. And today we figured we might as well just jump right into it. It's been 2 weeks now. And like Rask said, I just got back the other day, but no, things are good. And I keep talking about the move, but move out date is like next Tuesday. And I'm going to Michigan tomorrow for the next like 5 days or something. So today was like the day where we had to pretty much move everything out. So I've been doing a lot today. I'm sleeping on a mattress on the floor tonight. So I'm currently in my bedroom just filming this podcast. And no, it's been a long day. Looking forward to a good night's sleep tonight. But obviously the podcast comes first. And I know you haven't been up to much, eh?
We'll talk about all the stuff I've had going on, but I'm curious too. What are you doing in Michigan?
So my dad went to Western Michigan University, like playing hockey there in college. So his college roommate still lives in the area. So they lived together for 4 years. So great buddies and family friends of ours. And we've known them forever and good buddies with like his kids are good buddies of mine and my brother. So it's going to be awesome. Go down there, hang out with them a little bit, work out and train down there, get a few rounds of golf in and just a little bit of relaxation.
Okay. Not bad. So what about camp, man? We got to talk all about San Jose. Like tell us about all that. Let's get to your stuff first here.
Yeah, bro. And I was like, obviously I'm pretty lucky. Like I have Nexus for the border. Like I 100% recommend it to anybody who is traveling or even will travel every now and again. Like it's such a lifesaver because like my buddies, like they ran on the flight, like Cozy, Merkley, Mitchell Russell, like just to name a few names, like they ran onto the flight to make it last minute and it was already delayed like 30 minutes to hold it for them. But, I fly through the airport or whatever, get in and Toronto Pearson's a nightmare. Like there's no hiding that. Like obviously Wits talked about that on Spit and Chicklets and I'm sure everybody's seen the clips and it was voted like worst airport in the whole world. So whatever, I got through the airport and I got to San Jose. So obviously it's great. And we're staying at the Hamilton, same as I've stayed at every time I've been there before. And I was rooming, actually, this is funny. I was rooming with Tristan Robbins. So
no way.
Former guest of the pod. So we talked a little bit about that. He's just asking how the pod's going and stuff. So couldn't complain about my roommate too much at all. And no, that was pretty good. And from a hockey side, it was awesome, man. Like obviously development camp's not one where you're going there to like, you're not going to try to obviously you're going to try to prove every day, but they're not evaluating you at a certain level. So you're not necessarily like scared to mess things up or like try things that you might normally like not do in a game and stuff like that. And just kind of like try to add things to your toolbox for like when you're playing. And this is a thing, like, I think that a lot of young players can learn. And I learned it last year in my first development camp. Like when you're at a practice in the summer, there's no shame in going 70% during a rep and like doing it properly and like learning that skill properly rather than like wheeling at 110%. Like, hey, I'm working hard, but like, you're really not getting anything out of it because if you can build off little things and then throw them into your game, like it's going to add a whole new arsenal to like the player that you are. So I think that's something that younger players listening to the pod, and I guess anybody could kind of pick up on. And it's something that I've learned a lot. So that was one of the things that I was just trying to focus on, like, rather than like ripping through it and just showing like how hard I can work, I'm going to like, I don't know, work smarter, just try to work things. In fact, that I can use them in a game and I can feel comfortable pulling these off now at 70%. And then I can work up from there. But it was pretty busy, man. Like we had two skates a day. So it was like come in the morning, have breakfast, stretch, watch some video, skate, come off the ice, have lunch, work out, stretch, skate, cool down, home. So it was like we were at the rink from like 8 till like, I don't know, later on in the day. And it was a grind, but it was so much fun, man. And like it's not like grueling skates out there. Like they're not trying to kill you, like they're trying to teach you things. So it's more or less you're just like super pumped to get out there and kind of learn things.
Yeah. And new GM Mike Greer, did you still got the same number of shampoos in the showers, or is he cutting down on that?
No, yeah, we're it's looking the same right now. It was solid, man. And that's what I was gonna mention next. Like the food is just like such next level. Like it's crazy. And it's the National League for a reason. And we've heard guys on the pod talk about how the difference between the A and the coast and the show. So, but no, it's definitely makes you want to work harder when you have a beautiful steak and broccoli and all these fruits and potatoes and salads and stuff just waiting for you when you come off the ice. It's like, wow, like I'm I'm in the big leagues right now. So yeah, it's definitely it's a bit of a more of a motivator than anything, because you just want that so bad. And it's such a nice lifestyle, not having to think about breakfast or lunch.
Oh, I know, man. Especially because like once you get there, teams have their own private chefs and meal rooms and stuff. Like oh man, like it's the life, dude. So it's pretty sweet. Is there any like specific skill you maybe learned or worked on that jumps out as you as like one you're really gonna throw in your game going forward?
Honestly, man, it was like with shooting. Like we talked a lot about like, I don't know, like knowing your stick is like a big thing. Like I feel like everybody kind of just uses your stick or like uses a stick, and like when you're growing up you go, oh, okay, I want the McDavid curve or I want the Crosby curve because they're the best in the game. But like I feel like finding a stick that's actually proper for you is like a huge thing. And then we were just talking about like different ways to like use it, and like they're $300 sticks, they're obviously doing something. So if you put weight on a certain spot, or like you don't really have to rip at it to like get the most out of it. Like rather than trying to snap a shot as hard as you can, just like a little flex in a certain area can pop it just as much and get it to a good area. So just kind of the technique of shooting to be able to like get the hardest shot and the most accurate shot from pretty much any angle is like something big that I picked up on this week. And I was at a skill skate today with like some of the younger lads I train and help out around here. And I was just kind of showing them. So hopefully they picked up on it too. Cause it was like, I was like, it was eye opening to see that like how inefficient you can be when shooting a puck.
Maybe you'll have to teach me so I can line it up in the men's leagues Wednesday nights. But yeah, I mean, any other San Jose stuff you want to talk about?
Not really, man. Like
question, just good or bad? Did you have a good camp?
Yeah, no, I had a good camp. I did well. Felt good out there. Yeah, pretty good.
Oh, did you dent a crossbar, or was that just someone say that?
No, I didn't dent a crossbar.
Okay.
You kidding me? That stuff's so set in stone. I mean, I've dented my crossbar at home, my little flimsy driveway net. But no, I feel like if I dented a net at the arena, I'd be getting put in the hardest shot contest.
Yeah, you'd probably be on the team. Anyway,
yeah.
Okay, interesting. Well, I heard you had a good camp too, and I heard through the grapevine coming from Cozy that he said you had a good camp too. So
that's okay. Good to hear. Good to hear. I like hearing positive feedback. That's always a treat. But no, it was awesome, man. And like typically, like last year, I had like a lot more stories from like going golfing or something like that with the boys. But like this year is more or less just so tired when I got back to the hotel. So not too much to report on there, but all in all, a fun experience and definitely a lot of learning, and just know what I got to do for main camp now. So let's hear about the big night and whatever else you've been doing, because I know you've been busy.
Yeah, I got a lot of stuff noted down to talk about. First, I just want to quickly say our guest this week, we've had him on before, but now he's an OHL champion and now signed by the Seattle Kraken, Ryan Winterton. So we'll get to that in a bit. And yeah, so I mean, my night, the other night, I guess, I was partying with like the St. Catharines Falcons and the Trophy and Paul Bissonnette, Biz, as we all know him. So, Biz is best friends with the coach of the Falcons from growing up together and playing junior together and stuff like that. So that's the relationship there. So, I mean, the coach had like rounded up a group of like the coaching staff and then the graduated players, like not the ones who were on the team going forward next year, to party with Biz and this night in St. Catharines there. And so I rounded up the squad to pre-up my brother's store, the wine store in St. Catharines. And then sure enough, Biz just strolls in the door and comes to drink with us and stuff. And tell some stories and all that sort of thing, which was pretty cool. And we were just drinking, and we go over, and it was funny. He's carrying our trophy, the Southern Cup, and some guy pulls over. He's like, "What trophy is that? Like, what is that?" And he's like, "It's my men's league trophy. I just won." And the guy's like, "Wow, that's cool." But we show up to this bar, and Biz like walks us in and sets us up at his table with, like, I guess whatever the Barstool staff was, and I got to make a few good friends and contacts there, which was cool. We had 20 bottles of Pink Whitney there, maybe like 100 something Bud Lights. Like all, and whenever one bottle would go, like it would just get immediately replaced. Right. So it was unlimited alcohol, and you know how it is with the trophy, like, especially with me who worked really hard to earn it. I'm just wheeling the trophy around. Like, it was filled with Pink Whitney, where we're pouring it into people's mouths. Like, people are taking pictures with it. I got a good picture with me and Biz both holding the trophy. Just so it was just crazy. Oh yeah. And then I ended up, the Spittin' Chicklets posted me on their Instagram and tagged me.
Yeah, dude, that's what I was like. So I'm sitting in, I was literally sitting in my bed, and there was a bunch of the boys just chilling in the hotel room. And I'm like, I go, yeah, like, cause I was with Cozy and like a few of the boys that like would know you. And I'm like, yeah, Rask is like chilling. He's chilling with like Biz, and they're partying right now. And then I'm on Insta, and I'm like, what's going on? Boys, Raskin's on Spittin' Chicklets Insta right now, chugging out of the cup, and we were losing it. So that was hilarious, man.
Yeah, it was, my phone blew up pretty good. Like, I felt like it reminded me of when you got drafted and my phone blew up because all the tags on Showbound. But I mean, I got like 600 or 700 followers that night. They have like 1 million followers, and then Pink Whitney posted it too. So it was good, a little publicity. And then hello to any new podcast listeners, by the way, because I was checking the numbers for last episode, and we got a lot of people from Chicklets that obviously came to check us out. So a big hello and welcome. And I hope you stick around for some future episodes. But yeah, I mean, it was cool partying with Biz and all that, and getting tagged on the Instagram was cool and stuff. But honestly, the trophy still made the night. Just like being with those boys and the trophy is so fun. You can't beat it. So it was really cool. I think that's about it from that night. It was just, you know how it goes. It's just a wild night. It was super fun and just good to be with those guys. Now, actually, there was a couple Calder Cup champions from this year at the bar there too. I don't want to name drop anyone in case they don't want it, but a few members of the Chicago Wolves made the night, made the trip over there too, and maybe getting them on the podcast in the future here. I wanted to bring up last episode, which was 2 weeks ago now. I brought up that coffee, I don't know if you want to call it debate or whatever, where I said like people are basically making fun of me for having sugar in my coffee, and like other people. Now I got a DM saying it's basically the same argument as people who like put ketchup on their eggs or like on anything else, and myself and other people make fun of them for it. It's the same concept. You make fun
of people for putting ketchup on eggs?
I mean, I don't, in my head I do. I don't like say it. It depends who the person is. But yeah, I've done it before. I'll be honest.
Dude, what do you put on it?
I eat my eggs like how they are.
Salt, pepper, that's maybe. Brutal. See, I'm on the other side of that debate. So I'm like barbecue sauce. I'm ketchup. I'm hot sauce. I'm whatever you can find. Like, I'm not.
What about spaghetti? I've seen people put ketchup on spaghetti.
No.
But so now, I mean, theoretically, like this guy, we were going at it in the DMs too. But the point he was making was that like me complaining that I'm getting bullied for putting sugar in my coffee is the same thing as like me bullying someone for putting ketchup on like spaghetti or something. And he's right. Like, it's the same idea. No,
it's the exact same thing, but I just can't believe you eat plain eggs. It just tastes like, I don't know, like rubber or something.
Tastes like eggs, man. I don't know. Maybe you're not eating NHL eggs. You're eating like Coast eggs or something. But I get some nice eggs. Another thing I wanted to. Oh yeah, this one is great.
You're eating Coast eggs, he says.
Okay, I wanted to talk about this last episode and I forgot. And now even more stuff has come out. But the fact that we set up Tate McRae and Cole Sillinger, and they're, I guess, dating.
Well, that's like, it's not confirmed, but like
they're something, man. It's confirmed. Well,
no, I'm talking about like, yeah, they're dating. I'm pretty sure. Like, I don't know. You've been filling me in, but like, yeah, it's pretty wild, eh?
Well, so for those who don't know, I guess Cole Sillinger, we had him on the podcast like early. in the episode 30s area, I believe. Youngest player in the NHL this last year, Columbus Blue Jackets, and Tate McRae, Canadian singer, couple million followers. He said she was his celebrity crush on our podcast. We posted the clip. After that clip, she followed him on Instagram. They're from the same hometown, whatever. Maybe Silly did some wheeling and dealing in the DMs. I don't know. But now they're posting together. There's people saying they're, whatever. I've seen a couple pictures of them together already. So we got to talk to them and see if they met each other from the clip of our podcast. We have to confirm that.
Wild. I mean, like, I feel like Silly was being strategic when he said that, though. Like, I feel like any sort of social media that he's ever been asked on that, like, he was being strategic when saying that and hope that she would see it and then it would work. So smart. He's playing chess. Say that. Like, good for him. But that's pretty funny if that's the case and it was actually set up that way. And that's intelligent move.
Yeah. And I reposted that video with like some proof of them dating basically on TikTok, and it has over 100,000 views already. And people are going in the comments saying like, retire Sillinger's number already. Like, he's a legend in Columbus forever.
That's hilarious. Well, I never even heard of like her, to be honest. Like, I didn't know who she was when he said it. I was like, who's that? And then I think I asked you after and you're like, oh, she's like a singer or something. And I'm like, oh, well, okay.
So back then she wasn't even like, she's pretty big now. She wasn't as big back then. Like, I think she had the one good song. I don't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but now she has like some straight bangers, and I rip them in the car for sure.
You're supporting Silly. His
exactly,
his income.
Maybe he'll give me some concert tickets. I just tossed Tate McRae the follow too, just to see if she's posting with Silly, so I don't have to have other people send it to me.
You're on Tracker Watch.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye.
Silly Tracker.
Another thing I wanted to say, going back to the TikTok, and I was texting you briefly about this, but this is just unbelievable. So I don't know if I talked about this on the podcast. I posted this video of like a ghost ship essentially that I saw in Halifax on TikTok. And I mentioned in the caption that Halifax is the city where the dead bodies from the Titanic were brought in to rest, because it was the closest city to where the Titanic sank with a port. Yeah. And so, there's been rumors that Halifax is haunted and stuff because of a lot of dead bodies from the Titanic and stuff. Anyway, people are claiming that the Titanic, now there's conspiracy theories going on that they said that Titanic was torpedoed down instead of hit an iceberg. First of all, they're saying it wasn't the Titanic that sank and they like switched it with the Olympic or something, but it was torpedoed down to prevent the 3 to 4 richest people in Europe from getting to the United States to start a new bank that was like corrupt or something like that. And there's like 50 people, there's like a couple hundred comments now, I think, and people are just agreeing and saying like, yeah, this is true. Like, I know this, dude. Like, and people have gone down to see the Titanic at the bottom of the ocean, and if it was torpedoed down, it would have come out by now.
You would like to think so anyway. I don't know, man. Like, I'm not a huge conspiracy theory guy. Like, I just try to, like, I feel like it's such a mind F. I don't want to drop the language on here, but just messes with your mind so much. And like, I feel like once you get into them, you literally can't get out. Your mind's just trapped in these ridiculous theories that I don't even want to have to think about right now, because half the time from ones I've heard, they're believable. And then you're like caught in this thing and you're like, what am I doing here? So I don't even dip my toe in the water there.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing too. Like theoretically it's believable in the sense, like the concept of trying to prevent the richest people from starting this corrupt bank or whatever. Like, I don't know where this, anyway, we're all living in a simulation anyway, so it doesn't matter at the end of the day. But
you want to talk a little free agency?
Yeah, I had that note down. I wanted to jump to Johnny Gaudreau, man. So because we're on the Columbus topic with Silly, the legend who's getting his number retired, and Johnny Gaudreau leaves Calgary to take a pay cut with Columbus. So people are talking about how they're mad at him basically for like not telling Calgary until it was too late to get a return on him. I'm curious what your opinion as a player is. Like, do you think he's like, it's his job or he's morally obligated to tell Calgary, like, yeah, I'm probably going to go. You might as well trade me.
I don't know. It's an interesting scenario. Like, there's so many things that could be going on behind the scenes that would play a factor in that. Like, there could be bad relationships. There could have been bridges burned already. Like, there's so many things that the public eye doesn't see that actually go on in the business to never make it fair to judge a player on what their decision is and something that they're doing. So that's one thing that I always like to consider. Like when you see these things and you're like so out of nowhere, it's like, well, there was obviously a reason for this. Um, and like I heard a couple clips of Johnny, and like, and it was obviously like New Jersey, but like that's his hometown, right? So like he was saying it was just too close to home and stuff. And Calgary's like that brought it to my head. Like Calgary's very far from home, and now Columbus, he said, is the perfect distance. It's not too far, but it's not too close. And you know what? I kind of feel that like that's similar to like what Barrie's been for me in the OHL. Like it's far enough where I'm away from home, but it's also close enough where I'm right there also. So it's very similar in that sense. So the Columbus, it makes a good decision. It's a smaller market, I guess you could say, and it's a little bit out of the public eye. He's not going to be getting ridiculed after every bad game when he doesn't score a goal and stuff. So maybe he's looking for that. Like, I mean, he's having a kid on the way, maybe like a little bit less stress, go in there under the radar. And then obviously if you put up 100 points like he does, you're still the man. And I mean, a pay cut, 9.7.
Yeah.
I don't know. I take that. It's pretty good.
I would take 9.7. I mean, I hear what you're saying. You make a lot of good points, and I agree. Like, I don't think the player is ever like has to tell the management unless there's a situation where like you for sure know you're out 100% at the end of the year. But like, if he hadn't decided by the trade deadline, which he probably hadn't, like, why? I don't know. It's just like
Landry was good this year, man. Like,
yeah.
Can't say like he probably thought they had a chance this year, so like you can't ever say anything like that. And they did have a good team. Like they just ran into like a weird series, to be honest. There, where McDavid and Draisaitl just kind of took it to them. But like, you can't blame the guy for playing in Calgary, and he was amazing for Calgary. So for people to kind of bash him, like I don't know, it's something that only the player will know unless it gets out on the reasons why. But at the end of the day, it's always up to the player, and it's in their best interest. So I think that's where that decision came from.
Yeah, and now Calgary might be in a little bit of trouble because I'm hearing all these rumblings that Matthew Tkachuk wants out, and he might get dealt next week or something like this. And if they lose Gaudreau, Tkachuk, who knows who's next? Like, I mean, they're gonna have to go into rebuild mode right away.
Yeah, pretty close. I mean, like that line was their staple. Obviously, you had a guy like Lindholm too, who had a huge year this year. But if you lose Chuck, who's another 100-point guy right there, that's 200 points for your offense right there gone. So it's definitely a tough blow for them, especially to lose Johnny in free agency is always tough because it's not like you're getting a return for these players. They're just gone, and you can't do about it. So that's it's definitely a topic, and one that I wanted to talk about was Burns getting traded to Carolina. And that was a pretty crazy day actually in San Jose. He's been such a prominent figure there. And what was your reaction when you heard about that?
Yeah. And Carolina just got Max Pacioretty too, didn't they?
Yeah, I think they did.
They're going to be nasty. They're pretty good as it is. But yeah, the Brent Burns trade, it's one of those guys where you just like imagine him retiring as a Shark. Like he's been there so long. He's such a legend, and you just think he's untouchable kind of. And, I mean, it's good for him. Like he can help Carolina win, man. He's such a good player. And I was definitely surprised. And it must've been pretty cool, to be honest, being in San Jose and just, hearing the rumblings and like being there for that. But Carolina looks pretty good, man. They could be a good, they're not even a sleeper pick. They could be like just a good pick to win the cup.
Oh, for sure. You had him on the back end, and then like you said, Pacioretty up front, and that's confirmed. Like Pacioretty went there, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah.
So I haven't been keeping up too much because I was at camp, but yeah, like you had two veteran presences like that, guys who have been in the league a long time and guys who are looking to win, right? Like obviously Burns could stick it out in San Jose and finish his career there, and he'd be a legend just like the Marlows of the world and stuff like that in San Jose. But at the end of the day, you want to go out with a cup at some point. I think it's every hockey player's dream growing up to win a cup. And obviously he felt, and so did everybody else, that Carolina was the best chance to get that done for him. And the trade lined up for the Sharks as well. But yeah, it was definitely, I don't know. I feel like the mood was a little bit more sad that day. A lot of the guys who were close to him and the staff and stuff were just a little disappointed. Obviously, when you see a high character guy like that have to leave the organization, it's always a tough thing.
Yeah, it's like you lose a family member in a way, like the teammates who know him and the staff who've been there for so long. Like I remember one sticks out to me, and this means it has nothing compared to like Burns leaving, but I remember in Barrie, Tyler Tucker when he got traded to Flint, and I'd known this guy since the start of the season, so like 5 months, I don't know, and it was so sad like when he left. And dude, I'd known the guy 5 months, like the team, like a lot of the guys on the team known him 5 months. Guys like Burns who've been in one place for so long and the staff had been there for so long with them and their kids probably know each other and wives and families know each other. Like it is such a big deal. It's like losing a family member. And I can definitely understand why it's sad, but you know what? Like he's gotta chase a cup, and it's too bad because we could have used him on the Leafs, man. He would have been a good fit there, but he'll be nasty on Carolina.
Yeah, no, he'll do great things. And that's another thing that I kind of think about. And I was like talking to the training staff, like the therapists and the equipment managers and stuff. And he's such a good guy, right? So he would have got so close to them and they had such a good relationship. So obviously it's tough on those guys too. And actually quick shout out to those guys. It's absolutely incredible what these NHL equipment managers and therapists and all this like do for the team and like how well they do their job. It's incredible really to think. So, and those guys are just so nice. So I can see where how Burns would fit in so well with them.
Yeah. Before we flip it to the interview, which I think we can get to, I do want to ask you one question because you talked about the trainers and equipment managers. How are you taping your stick down there? What tape job were you rocking?
Oh yeah, buddy. I kept the same one going. Just a couple strips in the middle, leave the toe and the heel open. Gotta wrap it.
Okay. So it's working for you. Yeah. And I think let's send it over to Ryan Winterton now.
All right. And we're pleased to be joined with Ryan Winterton, OHL champion. And I think he might be wearing are you wearing a satchel right now?
I'm not. I'm wearing a sling. I just had shoulder surgery to repair the shoulder from the playoff run. And I had a bit of a injury last year at the start of last year. So went out to Seattle this week and, I dislocated a couple of times last year and, they looked at the MRIs and stuff and they thought it was best that I got surgery. So just trying to kind of, rehab that right now for the next 6 months. And it'll kind of be the same kind of timeline as last year, coming in just after Christmas it should be. So, it's unfortunate, but it's kind of what happens when we went for that big run like we did.
Okay, so you're out for a while, eh?
Yeah. I'm out. I think it's 6 months.
All right, so you're used to that, though. You heated up. Perfect. I just wanted to quickly ask, like, we were going to ask about dev camps. You obviously didn't skate or anything. You just went down there and hung out for the week?
Yeah, no, I didn't skate. I think I could have, but, it was just kind of right after, our season ended. So I think they wanted to give me some rest and the shoulder obviously didn't help. They wanted to get that figured out. So went down there, got an MRI the day I got there and kind of, got the images from that and kind of compared from last year to this year. And it was just, best in the time kind of worked out that, I got surgery now and, to be ready for half my season next year and then, hopefully play in the AHL.
So yeah, you just go to Seattle, you sign with the Kraken while you're there. Can you talk about how that all came about?
Yeah, it's kind of, I've been kind of wondering when it was going to be for, I want to see the last kind of half of the season. And thankfully, John, I know Cardsy knows John Walters, my agent. He's kind of been in talks and he always just kept telling me at the end of the season, keep going and I keep trying to perform the best you can. And then, I think they're going to do something at the end of the season. And, thankfully they did. I mean, it was kind of good with the bad when I went down there after, signing. And then I think it was the next day I got surgery or the next morning. So, it was a good with the bad, but, obviously really excited to get that done and, excited for the future with them.
You can rest your shoulder on a bed of money after you sign on.
Yeah, you're soon, Cardsy. So,
hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah,
that'd be good for the pod. But have you bought anything yet, or do you plan to?
I kind of went shopping a little bit. After my surgery, I was down in Seattle for I want to say it was 5 days after surgery. So I just came home this morning and I had a little bit of shopping. I went shopping a little bit down there, but I wouldn't say anything yet. I haven't thought too deep into it. Probably maybe a new toy for the cottage, or we'll see we'll see. A jet ski maybe, we'll see. But I kind of gotta get some stuff sorted out, and then we'll see how it plays out.
Right, that a boy balling out, and that wasn't the only good, as I mentioned earlier, OHL champion, and pretty special year you guys had, and incredible team. So I just want to talk about like the run itself. So just briefly, like, you want to tell us how it was being a part of that?
Yeah, it was insane, honestly. I know everyone says it, but it's so true, where you're never on a team that close that is willing to do anything for the group of guys in the room. And honestly, the regular season was fun. We had our fun, but as soon as playoffs kind of came down to it, we were definitely ready for what was going to happen, and we all kind of knew we had to dial it in after having all that pressure from trading at the deadline. And we kind of knew that we were probably one of the better teams in the league. We knew we were the best, and we kind of knew that going in. So that was kind of on our minds the whole time. And I don't know if you guys watched our first game against Peterborough, or our first series against Peterborough, but it was kind of a war. Like, it was insane. We had guys like Guriev just taking healthy runs at everybody, and they're big decor. So it was kind of like a wake up call to the playoffs early, when we had guys sitting out for games that they got hurt in, and kind of just didn't start us off where we wanted to be after probably getting some dirtier hits, and just kind of guys taking liberties on our guys in that series. So there was a lot of banged up guys, I want to say, all through that season, but even more kind of in the playoffs. And you kind of see that when you get going with you see it in the NHL playoffs every year, when the winning team and even the losing team in the Stanley Cup Finals, they come out with the injury report right after. And I think the Mem Cup was pretty much up there with, I want to see, Tampa Bay. And I think there was a lot of guys. I think we had 6 shoulder injuries during the playoffs in Mem Cup. Guys just playing through stuff that normally in probably regular season you wouldn't play through. So it's kind of special to see all that kind of like come to about, and kind of see the guys kind of put everything aside and just trying to dial into the bigger goal, and winning the Memorial Cup, and obviously winning the OHL championship, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, and you talk about winning the OHL championship, and not a lot of people kind of, I guess, expected that answer, because it looked like such a breeze for you guys. You go 12-0 to start the playoffs. So what's your mindset there after going 12-0? Are you getting a little bit cocky, or are you like, okay, let's stay in the moment here?
Yeah, I don't think we were getting cocky. I think we knew, Windsor would be good, but obviously, looking back, we had swept everybody. We were looking really good. Obviously got our rest, still a bit injured, but we still got our rest, which was, I think, ended up helping us out in Game 7. But I think kind of, I don't know, Cards, you could come in if I'm wrong, but I think kind of, maybe us sitting out all those games, especially kind of the semifinals and against North Bay, I think that kind of came back to bite us. Well, it depends how you look at it, because we still ended up winning in 7, which they were probably tired. And I think the sweeps kind of helped us then, but I think kind of them being in the game feel, and us kind of trying to come back into it after sweeping and after having, like, I think it was a week off, and I think they had 2 days off, so they were kind of in game mode, and we were kind of just still not in practice mode, or I don't want to say that, but we were just not as crisp as we'd like to be. And they're obviously a really good team that I think a lot of the guys weren't really expecting, just how good Windsor was and how deep they were. But it was and obviously the series kind of started off unfortunately with our captain going down, and I think after losing Game 1, all the guys in the room were kind of like, oh shit, like it's gonna happen. It's not gonna be easy. So I think the Game 1 was huge for our group, and obviously we went down 2-1, and we kind of just rallied together and kind of never got too down on each other, and ended up coming back and making a great Game 7 game at home in front of all the fans.
Yeah, and you talk about that, and like, it was such a long year with all this COVID and stuff, and I remember I was at Fetz's girlfriend's house with my girlfriend and your brother, and whole bunch of us, and we're going to a concert, and you guys are playing in game 2 the next day, and it's just wow, it's crazy. And I remember because your brother was at the game, obviously game 1, and he came back and he was like, yeah, CK's injured, these guys are injured. I'm like, oh my God, they might be in trouble then. And obviously, like you said, it's just the time off. And then once you guys got your feet under you in that series, and especially game 7, you guys looked real good. But I know Rask wants to talk about a few other things here, so I'll flip it over to him here.
Yeah, I got a lot of playoff questions too, but for one of them too, like Cardsy just mentions game 7, and in your mindset going back into that moment when you're walking into the rink for game 7, this is it, do or die, win or lose, it's over. Tell us about your emotions and feelings that day, like basically from the moment you woke up until the game was over.
Yeah, it's honestly pretty nuts. Let alone game 7, just kind of any game in the finals, especially when we went, down 1 early. It's just kind of like you don't want to go home and sit on it. Like you want to get right back to the rink. You want to play that game. I'm sure Cards, I'm sure too, Rask. You just want to kind of play that game and kind of even the series. You got a kind of bitter taste in your mouth, and that kind of happened to us game 1, game 4 when we went down 2-1. It was kind of just unsettling being down, and then obviously losing game 6. I was out for that game. That was the game game after I dislocated my shoulder again on a celebration. But we ended up coming back in game 7. I want to say game 7 was probably the coolest hockey experience I've ever been a part of. So to say I'm not happy it went 7 now, I think I'd be lying to you. But in the moment, for sure, I wanted to win game 6 and get it over with.
Yeah, and it was sick. They opened the upper deck and stuff, like get the massive crowd there. And now, so I talked about this a couple episodes ago, right after you guys had lost in the finals of the Member, but how I was saying that it kind of ruined the celebration for you guys. Or I want to ask you, did it ruin the celebration, basically coming back and having your parade and that stuff after having that sour taste in your mouth, losing in the Mem Cup final, rather than obviously if that's the end of the season, you win the OHL championship and you don't go to that Mem Cup, like the parade and everything, you're so happy. But what did that kind of give a little bitter taste?
Yeah, I think so. I think a little bit. I kind of agree with you. If it was right after the OHL championship, it would have been a little bit better after coming off that win. And the fans were still great, and it was still such a cool day where you can't really take it any other way. The fans were awesome, but I couldn't imagine if we had just won in. It was the next day and we went out to that. I'm sure it was already nuts. I'm sure it would have been just or more nuts than it was. But I think after the kind of the Mem Cup, there was obviously some bitter feelings in the room right after. And, I want to say that night, everyone was kind of just like, that was really it. Like our last game, no matter what, we lost. And, to have that, to fly home, it was still, we had fun on the plane ride home and on the way home, just because it was the last kind of time we were going to play with each other. We knew it, and it was honestly more sad than anything for that. Just not being able to go out not with that win and playing that long, and not getting the end goal we wanted while we were playing, I want to say halfway through summer. So that part of it was a bit frustrating, and having them be rested, and not an excuse at all, but have them to be rested and us to be kind of banged up. And we just I don't want to say we didn't have a chance, but St. John was a really good team, and given when they're healthy, they were pretty hard to stop.
Yeah, and it's like if you guys had like 40 days off and everyone was healthy, like you probably win that game, and that's the debate. And I know maybe Cardsy, I don't know if you want to talk about it and all that, but it's part of going through the grind of the playoffs and stuff. Like every team that wins a cup, like you're losing a key piece probably at some point to injuries, and St. John gets all that time to get their players rested. And it's just interesting. We don't need to talk about the format and stuff, but it is unfortunate when you think about it that way.
For sure.
But here's my thought though too. Like you give any team 40 days or whatever they had, and you guys are playing that whole time too, right? They're watching these systems. They're obviously the video you guys have on them would have been completely changed too, obviously, because they got a new coach.
Yeah.
Man, we didn't even have any videos of we had videos, like, don't get me wrong, if you do like pregame pregame video on the other team, their power play and, their PK, whatever. But, for the most part, like seeing these, like you had no clue what was going to happen. When we played Windsor, we knew like who the guys were. We knew, their plays, what they were going to do. But, when we kind of played these teams, we had like I don't know if you saw our PK against Shawinigan, but they just torched us one game, 3 for 3 on the PK. Like we couldn't do anything. They were so good, it felt like. And then we kind of got some video together, and we played them, ended up playing them in the semis. We ended up beating them. But it was crazy what, like, I want to say, like the rest and, like you said, kind of them, if they were watching us, I'm sure they were, and having the new coach and not really knowing their systems, definitely comes as an advantage after studying for all that time. And, it was hard, man. It's like these teams are so good, and then you can't get the video. You can't like get the same thing you would as in the OHL championship. It's different, so it's kind of an adjustment period for sure. But it ended up being all right and working out. Obviously not winning, but it's still a great year.
Just talk about your Mem Cup experience there, and how about the media side of things? Like, was it a lot of media in your face, and like was there more TV timeouts, and how'd that all go down?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the media was different for sure. I didn't get too much, but guys like Macker and Morrison and they were getting a bunch after every practice, after every game, and just I don't know if you saw the finals, but the whiteout guy, man, like he's always like, I don't know if you've seen him on the ice. He gets in there. He gets in there, dude. Like he's like grilling you. Like we're I don't know if you guys saw us in the finals, but we kind of let our emotions get the best of us a little, just from frustration. I think tiredness a little bit. I don't know, man. At the end of the game, the guy, we're all like pissed off, and like he's just coming around, buzzing around with his white suit, camera right in your face, like you're fucking like almost in tears because you're about to lose, and he's just fucking reeling around. Oh, sorry, he's reeling around, and he's just in your face, and I think he's probably got some. I know he got some from our team, a little bit of chirps, but I know it's his job, and he can't really do anything about it. But it's just kind of funny how he's just buzzing out there, white suit, everything, and he's getting drenched with Gatorade sometimes from the boys, and he's pretty close to the action, getting some chirps from the boys too, and they're shoving cameras in his face or in our face when we're not too happy. But no, it was really cool, and St. John did a great job at the city down there too. The fans were awesome. It was the back burn in the finals, and it was a tough atmosphere to play in for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got just 2 things on that camera guy. The one of them, I saw the clip. I can't remember who was fighting, but I don't know if it was your team or not, but in the Mem Cup, like 2 guys were fighting, and the camera guy goes right up in the mix. And
man, he's not scared.
The ref's like pushing him out of the way, like telling him to get back and stuff. It was so funny.
Yeah, no, he's not scared. And you score, and he's like the first person you see out there. He's like wheeling up to you with the camera just in your face, and you're like, how did this guy get out here? Just he's kind of everywhere out there. Yeah. And then the other one, I remember a similar situation as you when the Erie Otters lost to the Windsor Spitfires in the Mem Cup final. Yeah,
Windsor had lost in the first round. Erie won the OHL championship, and after the game when Erie lost, the goalie Troy Timpano, I guess, threw his stick at that camera guy who was right in his face, and got fined and suspended and all this stuff.
Yeah, probably.
And I remember that.
Yeah, I remember. I don't want to say I got into it with him, but he was, definitely. I think it was kind of right after they scored their final goal, and this is not me. I kind of regretted it after, and they just scored their final goal. I think it was to like make it 6-2 or whatever it was, and he kind of wheeled up right in my face, and I'm like, man, just please, like, leave me alone for a second. He's like, he just looks at me, he shrugs his shoulders. He's like, it's my job, man. It's my job. And I'm like, I was so close. I'd bite my tongue, but it is his job. He's not wrong. So I can't fault him for it.
At the end of the day, he's got to make his money too, right?
Exactly. But maybe not the time to be shoving cameras into people's faces, but
that's the shot he wants.
You kind of laugh at it now. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So we're kind of giving it to him, and I know a couple of guys in the final. I think it was 2 minutes. I don't want to say names, but someone grabbed a water bottle and just chucked it, like a green water bottle, chucked it all over the ice, just all over this guy's suit. it's kind of funny now, but you're kind of like, holy shit, in the moment. We were kind of losing it, but yeah, it was not a good resemblance to the boys, but it's just frustrating. And then kind of, I guess he was there to kind of not take it out on, but it wasn't helping his case.
I mean, yeah, emotions and tempers are high at that point. You can't really blame anybody for ever acting out when so much is on the line there and stuff. But do you have any?
It was insane.
Do you have any moments or memories from like this season in Hamilton that like stick out for you?
Oh man, there's so many. This group was honestly special, and I wouldn't say there's like any that popped right out to me, but there's just like I could tell you like there's probably one night out of the 7 in a week where you're just in your billets doing nothing, without all the guys around, or you're not hanging out with anyone. It's usually you're out playing golf, you're doing something every night, and doing something together, whether you're just chilling in our captain's Colton Kamer's basement with his billets, and or you're at whatever you're doing. We were just always doing some. I'm sure I should have thought of some stories, but nothing that pops out to me right now, but I'll keep thinking, and hopefully by the end of the pod I can give you some.
All right.
Yeah, we always put people on the spot with that one. It's definitely hard, and I even hate when I get asked that one too. Actually, I'll just jump into, because I guess Cardsy and I, we both did this interview with The Athletic or whatever. I imagine you did it too, right? Cards, did you do it? Did you get?
Yeah. I met the guy in person.
Okay, so when he called me, he asked me on the spot. He's like, "You have any stories with Cardsy that you want to share or something like that?" And I like froze up. I was like, I don't know. I can't.
Yeah, man. Like, I bet you I'll get off this podcast right after, and I'll be like, oh, like fuck. Like, there's 2 things I could have told him. Like, fuck.
Yeah, it's so that one puts you on the spot.
Can't put me on the spot. I don't know. I don't work good like that.
Yeah.
Well, no, Rask has a few questions here coming up for you anyway that can kind of give us a little bit of tell on the at least. So
yeah. So I put down here, I got some Bulldogs questions. So I'm going to ask you some questions about guys on your team.
Yeah.
First one, who would you say is the funniest guy on the team?
I gotta go Ryan Humphrey. Cardsy probably hates that guy, but no, he's jokes,
he
man.
He's running his mouth there. It's like
he's so funny, man. He's from Michigan, like hillbilly kind of American. He just says what he wants, does what he wants, kind of. He like kind of embraces everyone. Oh man, like every game he's got the whole team hates him every game. They're running him. I don't know if you saw him in the Mem Cup, but he's just like out there like getting killed, like flopping everywhere. Like he's being an idiot, and that's just kind of. And then off the ice, he's kind of the exact same guy, just a clown. So yeah, I'd say he's the funniest. Him or Macker. Macker's pretty funny too.
Okay. Well, you kind of answered. I was gonna say who's the best chirper, but I think we'll stick with Humphrey.
Yeah, I gotta go Humphrey. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who has the
Cards?
worst?
I don't know. Cards. You know anyone on my team that's good at chirping? I'd say
honestly,
him.
You guys kind of kept your mouth shut. I feel like you guys were more the refs than anyone. And actually,
oh man, tell me about it, dude. Fuck, we were bad for that. I think everywhere we went in the OHL, like the refs just had it out for us. Maybe the same as other teams probably felt that too. But man, there were some games where it was like, oh my god, and we like half the time we fully deserved it. Like we were just kind of like, I don't know what it was, but yeah, we were just not too fond of the refs for sure.
Well, we were playing you one game, and I'm talking to a ref right before the start of, like, I don't even remember who it was, but I'm talking to one of them, and he's like, "Oh, Cards, just another game with the Bulldogs." I go, "What?" He goes,
"Yeah,
these
man,
guys, they won't stop yapping." He goes, they're all pre-badadas or something, and I just started killing myself laughing.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. You can look at it that way. I think we just got an emotional group, and that's kind of, I think, what ended up making us so successful. But it also could be, our worst enemy, where we get too caught up in it. I think a little bit in the Mem Cup that happened, and in the finals where you get kind of caught up in your emotion, take stupid penalties, and kind of ends up costing you. But yeah, man, there's some games where I don't know, we were just. Like in half the stuff, like we had Arbor on our team, Arbor Jacki, and man, like at the end of the season, dude, this guy couldn't even go into a scrum without getting like penalties. Like it was just like they knew the Hamilton Bulldogs were in town whenever we were, I think. So we actually obviously didn't help ourselves at all during the playoffs and during the regular season, which we probably should have tried to do before playoffs. But no, it's all right. It was a good time, and I don't. It was I don't want to say pretty fun, but it's nice giving it to the rest every once in a while.
Yeah. And I remember, to your point about Jack Eye there, I was at one of the games in Peterborough, and I remember like some guy just was chirping him at a face-off dot, and the ref was like, okay, 10 minutes each. Like, just like that.
It was unbelievable. And he's tough, and he scares the shit out of guys. And like, I don't know, Cards, you could probably tell it. Like, he's a scary dude, man. Like when he's on the ice, and I think that kind of just like, I think Branchy just, I don't know. I don't think he liked Arbor too much. And, he kind of heard too much of him, I'm sure, from his first 3 years. But yeah, they definitely had it out for him in the playoffs. And I'm sure they had it out for other guys too. Just, I didn't see it as much. And honestly, he's too strong. He was too strong for our league. So I think it was kind of the refs in the league trying to save the other guys from him, probably trying to not injure someone, but he could just go hit someone and hit them wrong, and he completely fooled you. So he's just a man amongst boys kind of out there, and I think at the end of the year he kind of had to pay for that a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And Jack is a former St. Catherine Falcon, by the way, so shout out to the Falcons. But moving forward, a couple more questions. Who has the worst tape job on the team?
Probably Morrison, I want to say. Yeah, probably Morrison he goes kind of to the heel to the toe. He doesn't do the toe. And then he does like the puck mark at the top of the stick, but it's kind of cool because I've literally never seen anyone with the same tape job. So I think it's kind of his tape job, which I think is pretty cool. So I can't knock that, but I just think personally, if I were to do it, I'd look like an idiot. So I don't like
too
much, but it's cool for him. It's his thing. So and it works. So it works.
Yeah. It's nasty. Who's the DJ in the locker room?
It's usually our captain Kamer or Duarte. Those are two. I think Duarte was kind of more pregame. He'd get the boys going with some EDM and some kind of upbeat tunes, and then I think it was like practice days, like CK would take it over and put some country on for the boys, put some rock. He always knew what to put on. Some Mike Stud. He kind of had it figured out. So I think the combo was great, actually.
Okay. And who's most likely to become a coach one day after their playing career?
I think Colton Kamer, man. This guy was like, he's the best captain I ever had. He was great, and just kind of from like a leadership standpoint, I kind of see resemblance in him and our coach. So we would all talk about it and how like he's just like he was our coach as a player, kind of like he like kind of like resembles the same game. So. And I think just off the ice, they just like connect, and they just like, it's just, I think him for sure, just his leadership and kind of his kind of coaching abilities and his willingness to kind of lead the younger guys and make them feel kind of as one. He's a pretty special captain.
I can agree with that too, because he's like that as a person as well. And obviously, know that Wints, and I feel like everybody in our area back at the Wints knows that. Yeah, just like an all around guy, just a people's person. But we'll roll into this or that question here, where I just give you two options and then you give me an answer. So we'll start with white or black tape.
White. Always kind of been white for the past year. Haven't really switched it up. I don't think I'm going to. I think it just feels better on the stick. So white.
All right. Bar down or 5-hole?
Bar down.
Shoot first, pass first.
2-on-1, probably shoot first.
Okay. Cardio or weights?
There you go. Weights, probably.
Ice cream or milkshake?
Ice cream.
Chocolate or candy?
Candy for sure.
Hot coffee or cold coffee?
Hot coffee, I think.
All right. Rask?
Okay. Well, yeah, on that one, a couple random questions and then a couple fan questions, but how do you take your coffee?
I usually go one milk and sometimes cream. I don't like cream as much. It's kind of more heavy on the stomach, but yeah, I go one milk and usually that'll do.
No sugar in there, eh?
No, sure. I saw you guys post the other day about it. You guys were grilling the people that don't put sugar in it.
Okay.
I'm not that guy that makes you feel bad. I just don't like sugar in my coffee.
All right.
Okay, good.
Okay, so you think you're better than me then? All right.
So you can take it either way. You can take it either way.
What is the meaning of life?
Oh, find happiness.
Oh,
Find
okay.
happiness, find love. I think so. I don't know.
I love
Oh,
that.
yeah.
That's great.
It's a good
Big love
question,
guy.
though.
Big
Good
love
answer.
guy.
Yeah, that's a great question, actually.
If you could travel to any year in a time machine, where would you go and why?
Do I stay the same age no matter what?
Yeah, like you're just visiting.
Oh, okay. I'd probably go future, probably 20 years, see what it's like.
Okay.
I like that. You you could find out where you're at, see if you ever made the show.
Yeah, exactly.
See if you're a bum or whatever you are.
Yeah, get a head start on your life, man.
Yeah,
Making a
exactly.
show, you know, to continue playing hockey. If you're playing, I don't know, somewhere, it's, I don't know. You could probably just tell if you're going downhill or uphill. So, yeah, I'd go future.
Yeah, you'd be able to figure it out, make the changes you need to. But then we just got 2 fan questions because we've been going for a little bit now. But
No worries.
how was the outdoor game?
Oh, it was nuts. And it's kind of, you got to forget that we did that. Well, at least I do. Like, it was such like a crazy year, like I said. And, I was kind of right at the middle of our year. And thankfully, I was able to play for that game. I think it was kind of right when I was coming back, or maybe just a bit after. But I think it was like close to when I was just came back. And, I had it circled down on my calendar for sure. And thankfully, I was able to play that game. And, we got the Leafs Sabres set up, so it was pretty cool. It was kind of like professionally done, which, I don't know if it would have been if the Leafs didn't play there the night before. Well, we obviously probably wouldn't have done the game if the Leafs didn't play there before. So, that was cool to have that kind of setup. And then obviously the fans and they're pretty cool. And obviously we had, I think it was 12,000, and it was so loud in there, and everyone, the fireworks, and kind of, they treated it like a football game. So they're like one of the Ticats games. So we had the fireworks going off, and it was a pretty cool experience for sure. And then, it was it was funny because the next day we had to go right to Peterborough. Like, then we didn't have, like, we were so tired. Like, our family, it was a 7:00 game. We were done after, and like, we usually just go home, go to bed, whatever. But this time we were like staying out. I think we stayed out till like 11 o'clock, taking pictures with family and stuff. And then obviously it takes a while to get back on change cards. It's like if you're talking to the boys, like, it takes a while to get unchanged and get out of the rink, and especially but we had to go back downtown and then home, and then we had to go to Peterborough next morning, and we ended up losing, which was unfortunate, but it was kind of like not a sewer from the league, but it was kind of like, enjoy your day, and then tomorrow you're down in the Memorial Center, so it's all good.
No, yeah, that looked like a sick experience, and I feel like I definitely wish that the Colts got one of those, but you know what? We're in luck. But no, that seems sick and a lot of fun there. And our last question before we wrap things up here was asked, who do you most enjoy watching on the Kraken?
On the Kraken, I gotta say Matty Beniers, kind of the last kind of half. He was pretty fun to watch, and I got to meet him this week at camp, and super nice guy. So I'd say him. He's pretty gifted out there. So I'm excited to see how he plays next year and see where things take him.
Awesome, yeah, and a future teammate of yours. And that being said, I just want to say that obviously great to catch up with you on here. I'm sure we'll see you around soon. I know you won't be on the golf course. You're out on the on the rink right now, but we'll get together.
Sucks, dude. Yeah, I literally can't do anything. Like, my parents just bought a new cottage. I was telling you I was gonna buy a jet ski, maybe get up there and get going, get ripping, but I can't even do that for like 3 months. So I'm kind of just stuck watching my dad work away at the cottage. But yeah, like you said, I'll see you soon. We'll see each other.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for coming on, buddy. And Rask.
Yeah, I just want to thank you for the time. Like, this was a fun episode, some good stories. It's cool. Like, I think the listeners are gonna love hearing about like being inside the locker room for the OHL championship and the Mem Cup and that stuff. It was cool for me. So I know the listeners are going to like it. So just thanks for taking the time. It was good having you on again. And I hope you have a good summer and recover well. And we can see you buzzing around soon.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it, boys. I'll see you soon.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, Wints.
All right. I want to thank Ryan Winterton for that one. That was an awesome interview, man. It was really good. I think there was a little bit of internet issues though on his end, so we can blame it on him, right? It wasn't me, right?
Yeah, I think it was a little bit laggy at some parts, but I think for the most part, the listeners will get a good gist for it. And I mean, we got the best editor in the
Yeah,
league.
they won't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, that was awesome. It was a good interview. I'm happy we got him on. And as we sort of know, I like the Kraken as my team other than the Leafs because no bad history with the Kraken. So an easy team to jump to. So that's kind of my backup team if things don't work out. If things don't work out for the Leafs this year coming up, like, and by that I mean if they lose in the first round again, then I'm a full-time Kraken guy. So
I'm gonna hold you to that.
yeah. Okay. Maybe Wints will send me a jersey though, and then I'll rep the Kraken. But I want to talk about the Open, the golf tournament, where I sent you a picture. I don't know if you saw it, but and I was, I was talking about this with some people who know golf, and I guess it's a stupid comment by me, but like the grass was yellow, the whole thing. What's with that? I know. It's one of the best courses in the world or whatever, but dude, it looked ugly.
Okay, here's the thing. It's in Scotland, right? How much sun are they getting there? How much rain are they getting there? Like everything factors in, right? So when you're playing in Scotland, the reason is that course is not one of the best courses in the world. It's not, plain and simple, but that's where golf started. It's the home of golf. It's the golf mecca. So everything like that is golf right there. So no matter how ugly it appears to be, but you have to think it's more or less about the history when it's there rather than the views and stuff like that. Obviously at Pebble Beach, we see these immaculate views and stuff, but there it's the history behind the game that everybody relies on. And that burnt out grass is what makes it challenging because it's so fast and firm there that you can't stop your ball from moving. Mind you, this year there wasn't a lot of wind, which made this course a lot easier to go lower because there was no wind. So the fast fairways and stuff actually helped because guys are hitting at 400 yards off the tee and hitting irons 300 yards. So it was crazy. But yeah, no, I saw you sent me that snap and I was just kind of laughing.
Yeah, it was sick though. I watched the whole Sunday. And it was exciting, man. And also shout out to me. I texted you, I shot a 90 today, but it was on a par 70.
Big shout out to you. That's an improvement. Now we're looking, I think you're on the break 90 watch. And I mean, I've been so busy with moving and stuff, but we have to get out for a round. I say, let's go for a round. Once I get back from Michigan next week, I should be good. Like just working out and training and stuff. So I'd say I'll bring you out to Oshawa or something like that. We can figure something out, but we need to get out and I need to watch this because you're bragging a lot. And hey, actually, I saw your Snapchat story. What is that course you were at today? That was a beautiful par 3.
Yeah, Halliburton Highlands Golf Club, and that thing, the picture doesn't do it justice. It's like it's a way steeper drop than you think. It is like a hard drop, and shot the thing within like 3 feet of the green, by the way. And I 2-putt. So, no, I 3-putt. Yeah, that was the one I bogeyed. Oh my God, I had the birdie putt and I bogeyed it. But I had a great tee shot on that one. Yeah, it's a nice course, man.
Yeah, it looks like fun. I know the guys who I work out with who play in Halliburton play there a little bit and stuff, and it's a good spot. So it's good to hear. I'm proud of you.
Thank you, bud. Yeah, I've been working on I've been hitting the range like 2 or 3 times a week. So it's the range, but again, it's my putting that screws me because I'm getting on the green fine, and I'm not putting, like doing any putting practice, but I've been practicing at the range, so I'm getting there.
I'll give you a putting lesson next week then, and see if we can shave a few strokes off just on like leg putting and stuff like that. That's normally like the biggest problem.
That would be huge, man. I could use that. But I mean, anyway, we'll figure it all out. We'll definitely get out for a round. We're gonna be back next week with another banger episode. I thought this one was great, and I'm at the cottage right now, middle of the week, just chilling. So my life's pretty great. And that's pretty much all for me. You want to wrap it up?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's so hot, dude. And I'm obviously the weatherman, right? So I get my information from CP24 or the Weather Network or my basic Apple weather app. So it's looking like very hot. So just be careful if you're out there. Make sure you're wearing your sunscreen, have a lot of water, stay hydrated. Heat stroke is a real thing. So everyone be careful, but go out and enjoy it, right? If you got a pool, go in it. If you got the lake, go in it. If you don't, find a public pool. Figure out your way to go out in the sun, have a little bit of fun, but also be careful at the same time, because I know I will be. So with that being said, we'll catch you next time on the Showbound podcast.